Hi there, and welcome to the 77th live tech Q&A session where you can ask me some tech related questions and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. And you can just post your questions in the YouTube comments and I'll take them up. And we do this for about 30 odd minutes every Tuesday at 7 p.m. India time. And I can see already quite a few questions. So let's start taking them up. And the first question that I got was from Gaurav, and it's a computer related question. Let's take that. And Gaurav says, what's your opinion on the new MacBook with just one USB Type-C port? Please share your thoughts on WhatsApp calling feature. Did you get it? Gaurav, regarding the USB-C type, yes, we saw that on the new MacBook Air. And the good thing about USB-C is that the connector is reversible. Traditionally, with the USB, you can just put it in one orientation, but this is reversible. So you don't have to worry which way you are putting it. So that's great. And the biggest advantage is that it can power up, provide power a lot more to your whatever device is connected. I think so technically it can provide power up to 100 watts. That way it can charge devices like laptops, etc. That's how Apple is able to use that single port to even charge the MacBook, the new MacBook. But again, this is not a technology that's proprietary to Apple. So very soon, I am expecting in just a couple of months, we will be seeing a lot more Windows laptops also having the USB-C type port. And I would say it's a great improvement over the existing USB 3 interface. It's even faster. But again, it's Apple. That's why we just have one USB port. And I feel just having one USB port on a computer restricts the flexibility. Personally, they should have gone with at least two ports, in my opinion. And regarding WhatsApp calling feature, yes, I got that on my Note Edge. And I also tested with the Note 4 and I got it. And one of my friend has a Nexus 6 and it is working on that also. But I did try to activate it. I'm able to receive the calls. This is the Samsung Galaxy Grand Max on my other number. And I'm able to receive WhatsApp calls, but I'm not able to make them. So I don't know. As of now, WhatsApp is sort of restricting it. The common thing that I've noticed, I might be completely wrong. All the three devices on which I tested and it works both for incoming and outgoing calls were a variant of the Snapdragon processor. For example, the Note Edge has a Snapdragon 805. Even the regular Note 4 and the Nexus 6 all have the Snapdragon 805. So looks like, I don't know if WhatsApp is just testing it with a few devices. But on this is a mid-range device, the Grand Max. I'm not able to make outgoing calls. So again, I hope it comes to all the other devices because it's a good feature. But as of now, I would say the call quality was not very good. Sometimes it's pretty good, but sometimes I was facing quite a few call drops. In, let's say, if I was talking for 4-5 minutes, it was dropping almost 2 times. So, but the good thing is the moment you hit that call button, it instantly connects. So let's see how it goes. And I think so it should come soon to all the Android devices. But let's move to the next question. And this is by Manav Punjabi. He's asking, can you recommend a good entry-level DSLR for YouTube? And also, lavalier mics good? You can check, again, sorry guys, I use Canon DSLRs from a long time. I have been using Canon DSLRs. So I don't know what are the entry-level models for Nikon. You can check that, Google for that. If your budget is around 32,000, I think so the Canon 600D can be had for that price with the kit lens. And I feel for that price, it's a pretty good, entry-level DSLR. It has a flip-out screen. That way you can easily take use for, if you are a single shoe person who does work like me, it will be really helpful. For example, this is my 550D. That feature is not there. So sometimes I feel it's uncomfortable. So that tilty screen really helps. For example, my other camera, that's the Canon 70D, has that. But again, the price of 70D is pretty high. So you can look at the on the Canon range, the 600D, that's for around 32,000. If you can up the budget a little bit, we have the 650D, but I think so Canon is discontinuing that and going for the 700. But the price of the 700 as of now is slightly on the higher side. But if you can wait, Manav, the Canon 750D might be launching soon. Hence, the price of the 700D might come down a little bit, in my opinion. And regarding lavalier mics, yes, they are actually pretty good. I do use them sometime, but mostly if I'm just doing work like this sitting, I use my Yeti USB mic. But for example, sometimes I shoot there. For that, I use my lavalier mic, because the onboard microphones on these DSLRs and even other cameras is simply not that great. Yes, it can get the job done, but if you want quality audio, invest in a lavalier mic. You don't have to invest in an expensive, wireless mic or something. I also don't have it. I have a simple wired mic, and I'm using the Audio Technica ATR 3330. It was for around under $25 or something like that. I did get it from Amazon, and I had to pay duties, taxes, etc. It worked out to around 2,300 or so. And for that price, that lavalier mic is actually pretty good. I hope that helps. Let's move to the next question. And this is by Kiran, and he's asking me, which one did you like, the Samsung Galaxy S6 or the S6 Edge? Can you please confirm if both the devices are having Corning Gorilla Glass on the back? Kiran, yes, both the devices, the S6 and the S6 Edge, have Corning Gorilla Glass even on the back, the front and the back. And just yesterday, I was in Delhi for the S6 launch, and we were in the show floor there, and Samsung said that we could even throw the devices and see if it breaks. But I didn't shoot that, and I did drop it twice, even on the back, and nothing happened. But again, it was not hard floor. I would say it was like sort of carpeted floor. But it has Gorilla Glass, and I even tried to scratch it with the key, both the front and the back, and it did not get any scratches. And regarding which one I personally like between the Galaxy S6 and the S6 Edge, if pricing is not taken into consideration, I would say definitely the S6 Edge looks a lot more premium, and I would say first time I could say this for a Samsung device, it looks a lot more sexier than the regular Galaxy S6. So if price is not an issue, I would say in terms of looks, the S6 Edge looks pretty good. But in terms of functionality with that Edge screen, I did not find a lot of functionality with the Edge screen. I would say this Note Edge, the Edge display that we have, has a lot more functionality compared to the functionality that they have given with the S6 Edge. So let's move to the next question. And this is by Adarsh. He's asking, when will the Asus Zenfone 2 launch in India? At the start of April or in the last week of April? Will the Asus launch the 4GB variant? Adarsh had asked this question to someone in Asus, and they gave me a very vague reply. They just said that, yes, it will be launching sometime in April, but they haven't given me any time frame. And I think they were not very clear. Again, these PR folks of these companies, they generally do not give a lot of info. And looks like, yeah, we might be also getting the 4 gig variant. So it's going to launch sometime in April, but I just don't know when. Anyways, let's move to the next question. And this is by Shobit. Again, a computer related question. Let's take this. Shobit is asking us, he's looking for a Windows Core i7 based laptop for video editing. He says he likes watching movies, videos. So refer me a good config. Okay, let's take the first part of the question. Next is something related to the internet connection. And yes, for video editing, if you have the budget, go with the Core i7 series. And also, as you have told me that you'll be using this for video editing, then RAM is also important. So I would say a bare minimum of 8 gigs of RAM. And see if your laptop has extra slots for RAM. Thereby, later on, if you want to upgrade, you can even go up to 16 gigabytes. So I would say for most case scenarios, I would say 8 gigs of RAM should be enough. But if you are very heavy into video editing and you use suits like Premiere, etc., so even 16 gigs might be a good idea. I don't have a very beefy RAM on my Mac Mini. It's just 10 gigs. But again, I don't do very complex video projects. So moving to the next point regarding, he says he's using the Airtel ADSL2 connection. That's his internet connection. Is there any other connection that provides uploads because he says on his Airtel connection he just has an upload of 512 kbps. That's just half megabit, whereas my downloads are 8 mbps. Thing is, Shobit, I would say look at some other providers. Yes, Airtel also. We have Airtel in my area, and I disconnected their connection because again the upload was very slow, just at 512 kbps. So look at other options in your area. For example, some of the local cable providers are offering a lot better connections in terms of the speed. 10 megabit, 20 megabit, and even they provide good upload speed. So just see what is available in your area. For example, for me personally, I'm using the Beam fiber. Now it's known as Act has taken up, and it's a 50 megabit download and 50 megabit upload. And soon they're going to upgrade me to 100 megabit download and upload. And yes, even the upload speeds what they promise we get. So look at other options. I would say ADSL. Yes, the uploads will suck. Let's move to the next question. This is by Mr. Sarkar. He says, which phone do you suggest between the Redmi Note 4G and the Moto G second generation? And I want a phone with a good overall performance. I heard that the Moto G was having a lot of issues with Lollipop. I would say if you don't take brand into consideration, let's keep the equation out that the Xiaomi Note 4G is a Chinese brand. Between both, if you just talk about the raw performance, I would say the Redmi Note 4G was slightly more fluid in operations compared to the Moto G, especially when we were doing heavy multitasking. In that aspect, I would say the Redmi Note 4G did perform actually much better than the Moto G second generation. And I would say as of now, the Moto G second generation is sort of old. Do remember, guys, it's running on the Snapdragon 400 chipset, and Motorola has already announced the Moto E 4G, which is running on the Snapdragon 410. You might say, yes, just Snapdragon 400 and 410, not a huge difference. Yes, there is a difference. First thing, it's 64-bit architecture, but even for 32-bit, I've noticed that the battery life with the Snapdragon 410 is much better. It's slightly faster. I would say around 25% faster than the Snapdragon 400, and it also heats up a lot less than the Snapdragon 400. So I would say if you can wait, if you just want the Moto G, I'm sure that Motorola in the next couple of months, and I don't think so it will launch immediately, but the next successor to the Moto G2 should launch maybe in the next 3-4 months, because Snapdragon 400 is sort of old now. But again, between the Redmi Note 4G and the Moto G2, the Redmi Note 4G is more responsive and much more fluid device, I would say. Even the camera is better on the Note 4G compared to the Moto G2. I hope that helps. Getting a lot of networking related. This is by Akshay Patel. He says, which is a good repeater? He says the TP-Link Nano Wi-Fi router, or the TLWA 750RE, which is an actual repeater, or the Digisol repeater. I would say if you just want the repeater, yes, even the Nano works as a repeater. But if you're specifically just looking for a repeater, I would say look at the TLWA 750RE. I have already posted a review of that product on my channel. You can just check for that model and my video will pop. And in fact, I have been using, currently I'm still using that as my sole repeater, and it's actually easier to set up for a repeater because it has LED LEDs which actually shows you a signal in a particular area. That way you can easily decide where you have some decent signal, where you can put it. And it is working actually very well. I think so it's been more than 3 months since I've put it as a repeater. It's on 24/7 and it's working actually very well. So for repeater, specifically just for repeater, I would say go with that one. Let's move to the next question. This is an interesting question. This is by Arthava. He says, Note 4 versus the S6 versus the iPhone 6. Which one is better in features and performance and durability? Oh my God. In durability, I can't, I would say the Note 4 might be the most durable because even the iPhone 6 feels a little bit fragile to me. And the S6, again, it's too new to yes, yesterday we played, I threw it a couple of times, nothing happened. But in terms of build quality, I would say the Note 4 feels like a tank. So I would say, and also I feel the Note 4 has a very beefy battery, and it has a lot more functionality due to that S Pen. So it offers a ton more functionality compared to even the S6 and the iPhone 6. But again, there is a huge what do you say, size difference. The Note series are known as phablet. So if you're okay with the large size of the Note 4, then I would certainly ask you to have a look at the Note 4. But if you like those small phones, compact phones, then you can certainly have a look between the Galaxy S6 and the iPhone 6. Again, it comes down to Android versus iOS, which you are more comfortable. Even after a long time, I would say with the Galaxy S6 and the S6 Edge, the in-hand feel was excellent. It easily fits in your hand, and it provides a very good what do you say, ergonomics are very good with the iPhone 6. Sorry, the Galaxy S6. So again, decide between the iPhone 6 and the S6. Decide Android versus iOS. Which one do you like? And the apps, again, check the apps that you mostly use, which one are available on each platform. For example, I've used the iOS YouTube app, but I didn't find that great compared to the options that were provided on Android. So I prefer Android over iOS for my needs. And certainly the Note 4 is also still a very good product. So let's move to the next question. Give me a second, guys. This is by Surpreet Baga. He says, what is the difference between DDR3 and DDR4 RAM? I came to know that DDR4 consumes more juice to perform. Surpreet, it's exactly opposite. DDR4 consumes a lot less power than the DDR3. So it is supposed to be efficient on battery, and also the clock frequencies on DDR4 are faster compared to DDR3. As of now, even we have high-speed DDR3 RAMs, but DDR4 in the coming months will have a lot higher clock speed. So hence it will be faster and it's more efficient when we talk even about the power consumption. Also, yes, the Galaxy S6 has DDR4 RAM. Many of the other vendors in smartphones are just stuck up on DDR3. Let's move to the next question. Give me a second, guys. This is by Mandeep. He says, I'm looking to invest in a 21.5-inch iMac. Want to know if the 1920 by 1080p resolution, and that's 1080p, is sufficient for a 21.5-inch display. Mandeep, it's more than sufficient. For example, the monitor that I'm using is a Dell monitor. This is also a 1080p monitor, the same resolution as the iMac. And this is just a 23.5-inch monitor. And it's good enough. And I even do video work, and it suffices my needs. I'm not that eager to go with the 4K display or whatever as of now. So, and I have actually used the iMac 21.5-inch for some time, and the screen quality is actually pretty good. So you should be happy with that. You won't see any pixelation or stuff like that. So don't worry about that. So let's move to the next question. This is by Shushant. He says, I'm confused between the Nokia Lumia 730 and the Moto G2 and the Asus Zenfone 5. What's your opinion? Which one should I buy? Okay. The thing is, again, the Nokia Lumia 730 again is a Windows phone device. So if you're okay with the apps available and the ecosystem of Windows, it's a very good phone. I would say it's one of the best mid-range phones for Windows devices. And even the camera on the Lumia 730 was very good. And it is built like a tank. Even if the phone drops or something, looks like nothing should happen with that phone. I was really impressed with that phone for Windows Phone. So if you're okay with Windows Phone OS, you can certainly have a look at it. I feel just if you look at in terms of hardware and build quality, it's even better than the Moto G2. But again, if you want an Android device, between the Moto G2 and the Asus Zenfone 5, in raw performance, again, I would say the Asus Zenfone 5 is a little bit. I wouldn't say it's there's a huge difference, but it's a little bit more responsive compared to the Moto G2 when you're doing heavy tasks like multitasking or something. Sometimes with the Moto G2, if a lot of apps are running, when you start switching between the apps, it can take a second or two, sometimes a stutter, you see that. But I don't notice that on the Asus Zenfone 5. But the problem with the Asus Zenfone 5 is the battery life was not good, and also the speaker output is so tinny that many people complain about that. So again, decide. Let's move to the next question. Okay, let's take this. This is by Asan. He says, which phone should I buy, the Motorola Moto E or the Nokia Lumia 530 or the Microsoft Lumia 532? Please do a gaming review of the Microsoft Lumia 532. This is the Lumia 532. I would simply, I just cannot suggest this phone to anybody. Though on paper, it's actually pretty good, but I would say the display quality of this phone is pretty poor, even when we compare it with the Moto E. The panel that is used on the Moto is much better. Also, these Lumia devices were known for their camera, but the camera on this is nothing great to talk about. That way, I would say the Moto E is much better, and also the in-hand feel. The Moto E feels a lot better. This just simply does not feel that good even in your hand. So I would not suggest the 532. The 535, you are asking about the Lumia 530. Yeah, the 530 also was an okay phone, but I was not that impressed. I would suggest that you check out the video review that I did for the 530 to check out some of the cons. It was not that impressive. Lately, I'm noticing that though the this Lumia devices, some of the pricing have come down, but in terms of the screen quality, etc., they are doing a bit of a compromise. So I hope that info helps. Let's move to the next question. Give me a second, guys. Some of you are Tejas is asking me about television under 40,000. Tejas, sorry, I just don't test television, so I won't be able to answer that questions. This is by Prajot. He's asking, are you planning to upload videos in 4K? Yes, I've got the Panasonic GH4 that actually shoots in 4K, and I'm actually shooting some of the videos in 4K. But sorry, guys. But it simply does not make any sense to post every video in 4K. Even when I downscale that 4K video to 1080p in my video editing software, there is a lot more detail. And some of you have already seen some of my videos, and you can see that. So I might post some videos in 4K where it makes sense. For example, if I'm doing a camera review or something like that, and you can see those images in higher resolution. But I don't think so. As of now, I'll post every video in 4K. Let's move to the next question. This is an interesting one. Let's take this. This is by Arish, and he says, do you think the huge price difference between the S6 and the S6 is okay, with only the difference being the edges? Very valid point. There's a price difference of almost 9,000. And I would say in terms of functionality, you are not getting that much more with the S6 Edge compared to the S6. Yes, it all comes down to the looks. The S6 Edge looks a lot more, good looking compared to the S6. So ultimately, it will come down to that. And yesterday, I spoke to some of the Samsung officials, and I said that the price difference of 9,000 is a little bit high in my opinion, but that's how it is. So it looks like if you want that more stylish device, you got to pay a premium of almost 9,000 bucks. But in terms of functionality, I've said this earlier also, if you want that edge functionality, then this Note Edge has a lot more edge functionality compared to the S6 Edge. We don't even have this quick launcher on the Galaxy S6 or the panels that use the Edge screen. We just don't have all that on the S6 Edge. Just some basic stuff like you can add some favorite contacts and notifications or whatever you get. Those come to the Edge screen. That is what the functionality is there as of now with the S6 Edge. Let me, this is a controversial question. Let's take this. This is by Ronak. He says, do you think Samsung did a smart job by putting Exynos chipset instead of the Snapdragon 810? Because I've heard that the Snapdragon 810 chipset heats up a lot. Ronak, yes, that's what I'm also hearing. The Snapdragon 810 chipset is exhibiting some heating issues. We'll know very soon when the HTC One M9 launches, because that has the Snapdragon 810 chipset. And again, it's too early to comment about the performance of the S6. Yesterday, yes, I did play around with it for about half an hour or so, and I did not notice any lagginess or something like that. But I couldn't load any games or stuff like that because it was a test unit with the locked up stuff. It'll be interesting to see how will be the heating between the Exynos and the Snapdragon 810. I'll try to do that comparison when I have both the devices in my office. We know that the S6 and the S6 Edge is going to launch in India on April 10th, but as of now, I'm not very sure when the HTC One M9 is launching. It was supposed to launch by the end of March, but as of now, no announcement by HTC India. And let's move. Let's see. This is by Shobek. He's asking, just pre-ordered the S6 from Flipkart after S4 directly jumping to the S6. Is there any huge difference between the Edge? Didn't have enough budget for that. In terms of functionality, as I told just earlier, Shobek, you don't get a lot more features with the Edge. It's just the styling. I would definitely say that if you are after the looks or whatever, definitely the S6 Edge looks a lot better compared to the regular S6. So again, it depends. Some people are looking for that style factor. Then the S6 Edge might look better for you, might be better option for you. But in terms of pure functionality, I would say you're not missing a lot with the regular S6. And yes, I would, Shobek, I would seriously suggest you that you go to a local Samsung store and check out the colors, because some of the new colors on the S6 are actually very good. In fact, I have shot a video with most of the colors when I was in Delhi yesterday. I'll try to post that video by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, because the colors actually, some of the colors, for example, with the black one and the emerald one and even the gold and platinum one look actually pretty interesting, because if you tilt the phone, the color changes. So I would seriously suggest that before deciding on a particular color with the S6 and even the S6 Edge, go to the nearest Samsung store or wherever where all the colors are on the display and check out which one do you like, because some of the colors, the new colors actually look pretty good rather than the boring whites and stuff like that. So let me move to the next question. This is by Saif. He says, will HTC One M8 be a good buy for me now, or same high and or some other phones like OnePlus, Xiaomi Mi 4, Galaxy Alpha, Note 3, etc. will be good than the HTC One M? Or should I wait for the Asus Zenfone 2? Is the Asus Zenfone reliable? My budget is around 30,000. Okay, first question. Still, the HTC One M8 is an excellent phone. The build quality is nice. The phone is very responsive. There's no lagginess or anything like that. Only place I would say, when we compare it with the flagships, again, I'm talking about that, then the camera performance is not that great. I wouldn't say it's bad, but if I take 10 pictures with the HTC One M8, 7 will come out pretty decent, but 3 might come out a little bit weird. So that is the only issue I have. But apart from that, the in-hand feel, the phone is very responsive. And I would say still the HTC One M8 is a very good buy. Now that the price of the One M8 has come down, I feel it's a very good buy. And if you have the budget, I would say go with the HTC One M8 rather than the OnePlus One or the Xiaomi Mi 4. And even the Note 3. Note 3, I would say only go with the Note 3 if you think that you'll be using the S Pen. Otherwise, I would still opt for the HTC One M8. Let's move to the next question. Give me a second, guys. This is by Surpreet Baga. He says, does the secondary microphone play an important role in call quality? Surpreet, it depends from handset to handset. And yes, in some handset, it does make a difference because it actively cuts down the background noise. So generally in high-end handsets, I've seen that the secondary microphone does make a little bit of difference. So if you're walking down the street or noisy environment, yes, it is sort of helpful. Let's move to the next question. Okay, this is by Proof. He's asking, what are your impressions on the S6 Edge? Which one would you pick, the S6 or the S6 Edge personally? Reasons, please. Proof, I would say impressions regarding both the S6 and the S6 Edge were positive. After a long time handling a Samsung device, you got that premium sort of experience, and it actually looked good. In terms of looks, I would say the S6 Edge looks way better than the S6. So I would say again, this is my personal opinion. I'm not looking at the functionality part. I would say if I had the budget, I would go with the S6 Edge because simply it looks a lot better compared to the regular S6. And Exynos is asking, what do you think about the pricing of the S6 and the S6 Edge in India? I would say yes, Samsung should have been a little bit more aggressive in the pricing. Yesterday, I spoke to some of the officials, they were there of Samsung, and I did tell them that I felt that the pricing is slightly on the higher side, at least for the S6 Edge. Because the base version is 32 gigs. There's no 16 gig variant now because we don't have a micro SD card slot. So 32 gigs is the base variant, and the regular S6 is almost 50,000, whereas the S6 Edge 32 gig version, that's the base, is 59,000. So I feel yes, the pricing, they could have done a better job in terms of pricing. That's my gripe. Yeah, I even told to Samsung about that. So again, guys, it's been over 30 minutes, so I will be ending this session. And again, we will be doing this next week at 7 p.m. India time. So I hope that you join me. And again, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Lots of videos coming up very soon. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.